Audio test. Wow. We can hear me. Wow. Wow. We can hear me. Guys, can you hear me? Wow. Good. Guys, can you hear me? All right, we're going to share it. Audio working. All right, we're sharing that. Oh. Roll tape. All right, folks. Let's try this again. We learned a valuable lesson about chickens. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show. Grass. 3:30 to go. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live from somewhere in the parts unknown in Medina, Ohio. And we are rural, so if we lose signal for a moment or two, you blame Verizon on this one. Folks, tonight's episode is brought to us by A Twist of Leona. They're an American comfort food truck with a Southern twist, a fusion of soul food and comfort food, taking the recipes of strong women passed down through generations and adding a modern twist. With these recipes come traditions, so you only find fresh and locally sourced ingredients. You can find their whereabouts on streetfoodfinder.com, and they're going to be at Summit Stage Fest this weekend at Highland Square. So, folks, we set up the show a while ago, and it's called Momming So Hard in the 330. We get a chance. Today we have the privilege of joining the Gambesini household live, and we're going to take a more in-depth look as to how they managed to raise 8 kids, keep a well-organized household with all those said kids and activities, working, coaching, selling, and going to church as well. You want to talk about organized chaos? Let's take a look, folks. We're going to head on up the driveway. You can see, the walkway. You can see the little nice picket fence up here. We're going to walk our way on up. Audio is now working. We're so excited. We apologize for that earlier. We had a cable issue involving some of the chickens. We'll get into that later as you get a chance to meet them. But first, just as you walk, I mean, you get to go up the steps and you're greeted by a nice warm G, just to get you in the mood of what this house is all about. So right now, as we take a look and take a walk onto the patio, you can see all these arts and crafts. These are for them specifically. It's not just for the business that they run out of here as well, but these are all decorations that belong to them, and it is specifically designed by the way that they want their porch to look. Looks like we have a random kid coming out right now. Good timing there, son. Come on out, guys. Come on out. Come on out. All right, I'm going to take a seat here. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Kristen and Ed Gambesini. They're friends of mine, long-time friends of mine, but in addition to that, they've got their own lives as well, and that's what we're here to focus on today. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good.
Here we are, take 2.
I know. It's like we've done this before.
We've done this before.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for being on our show tonight. We really appreciate it. Why don't we start by, I asked you this earlier. We're going to ask you again because nobody heard you. What is your Akron story? Tell us about your Akron story.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let Ed go first because he's older.
Okay. He's older. We'll walk over there, I guess. Can we fit?
All right. So I grew up in Manchester, which is just outside of Akron. I mean, it's technically, in Akron. I grew up there. I've got, there was 4 kids growing up in the household. My mom and dad still live out in Manchester. I went to St. Francis de Sales, which is up there in Coventry, and then I went to Holborn High School. I grew up in Akron, went to high school, went to Akron U, and spent a ton of time in Akron. So that's me in a nutshell, I guess.
Okay. Very, very well.
Very well. And sitting next to me is Mateo.
Hi.
And Maggie May.
Hi.
And Sebastian's up here sleeping.
Yes. That's our Bash.
And that's my Akron story.
Yes. Yes. It's hard to see that window you just showed, but it actually has the words, this is the porch that love built. It was kind of, Ed built this porch for me with the help of the kids, and it was just kind of a little remembrance of all the work that was put into it. So that's what that window is. As far as Akron, I grew up in the Cuyahoga Falls Stowe area with my 5 siblings, and not necessarily Akron. It was 330. But our first house was in West Akron, so that would be our Akron background.
Okay. Tell us about your families. You come from a family of 4. You come from a family of
5.
5.
Yes.
How many kids are in that family?
You asked me that before, and I didn't know the number, and I still do
It's like
not.
15 or 16.
I'm going to go with 15.
How many kids are in that family?
We have, Mom and Dad have 17 grandkids.
17 grandkids.
Yes.
Have you ever once gotten both families together for any one thing?
No, not recently. I mean, it just.
We have in the past for like baptisms, first communions. We've had things like that. But I don't know if we've had everyone be able to make it.
Okay.
You mean like in our house? Are you
Yeah,
saying
like
that in our
not
house?
necessarily in the house, but like you guys would have to rent out like a community center or something, wouldn't you?
No, it's too cheap. It would be in our
Akron
house.
Civic Theater or something like that.
We'd squeeze in here.
All right, so let's talk about the porch, right? I mean, I'm
Yes.
looking around. Yeah, I see that curtain over there. Tell me about that curtain.
Those are actually drop cloth. They're real popular right now on Pinterest. You'll see a lot of people making curtains out of drop cloths right now because it's inexpensive. But it was the afternoon sun, especially this time of year, can get very, very hot and intense. So it's just a way to make it more comfortable to be out on the front porch. And I mean, it's cute. I like the way it looks. So.
And it's interesting with our take 2, right? I mean, now the sun's down, it feels so much more comfortable up here right now.
Yes.
So we already took a look at the porch there, Moon Man. So explain to me now the porch has a dual purpose. I mean, granted, it's a real nice area for you guys to be at in terms of hanging out as a family, but you use it for your business as well.
I do. I use it for my Perfectly Distressed business. Typically, I will make seasonal items, usually holiday decor, and sell them. And basically what I do is I set the items out on the front porch and set up kind of like a pickup time, and whoever my customer is will come and pick up the item and leave the payment in the antique mailbox. And it works well for me because I don't like to leave the house or really get dressed or wear makeup, so I don't have to really see anyone.
So pajama momming all day? Half the day?
Sometimes yoga pants.
Okay. So have you ever had any issues with that? Or
One time, only once did we have an issue where someone stole items that did not belong to them, and they actually stole things that weren't even decor.
Well, did they set up like a drop? To
be honest with you, I don't even know who took it, because what happens is I will sell out of my whatever I make. I'll make, let's say I make 15 of them. I'll post that I have 15 for sale. Within 24 hours, I have all 15 of those sold with people coming to pick it up, and I will just set them out because they're unique in their own way, but they're also the same item but uniquely handmade. So it's kind of a first come first serve. You come, you pick out the one that you like, you pay, and you take it.
Sure.
So.
Okay, very cool. All right, and we'll get into the business more in a bit. So I suppose we should go take a look inside the house.
Absolutely. Come on in.
Let's go along and look. All right. Oh, we got a guard dog here.
Yes, these are our pups. Two of the 3.
Looks like, is that Benji right there?
Benji's the old one. We've got Harry is the one that is mixed with cat.
Well, come here, Harry. Look at Harry, guys. Can anybody tell us what kind of dog
Yes,
Harry is?
can you identify?
Can anybody identify
the
what is
veterinarian
Harry?
cannot identify
Nobody can
Harry.
say what Harry
Nobody
is.
knows what Harry is.
All right, so we walk in. We're in the foyer right away, and obviously, with the kids, you have to organize things. So I take a look, and I see in our kinder care days, we used to call those cubbies.
Yes. Yes. Well, when we first bought the house, this was actually a closet with, it had the sliding doors, and it had bars, but we've since decided, because it is such a small space and there's so many of us coming in and out at the same time, it gets chaotic. So we opened it up, and I found this at a secondhand store, this little storage shelf, and fingers crossed that it fit, and it actually fits perfect in there, and they just stay there all year round because it's easier. And the baby friends over, since we don't have the traditional closet by the front door, that's another way for our company or friends, or even sometimes the kids. Yes.
So what is this up here?
Okay, so this is, this general corner, it's like Grand Central Station. So this is my way.
You even have that right there.
Yes.
That's funny.
So this is my way of, I think the batteries are dead, so it's actually not 4:35. This is the Gambesini Grand Central Station, where time stands still. It's my way of keeping track of where my kids are. The day starts
On the main floor, leading to heaven. I don't know, is there a story there?
No, actually, I just remember when I was in grade school, at the church that my family went to, there was a hopscotch board, and the end was heaven. So I don't know if you flip the bathroom light on it, if it'll help you see any better.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but go ahead and take a look in the bathroom. So take a look at this door first. Rail sliding barn door, isn't it?
Yes. But I'm very proud of it. So.
And then take a look in the bathroom. If I remember correctly, that first of all, look at the collage that they've done of all the kids' pictures.
Yeah. I was actually, what happened was I was organizing pictures one day because, we all have, you're switching out pictures in frames as your kids get older. And I was looking at all these pictures that I no longer had in frames, thinking, what am I going to do with these? And it occurred to me, being out on the curb on our way to church, and said a little prayer to let it be there when church was over. And it was there. It was still there. I don't think many people wanted it. It was covered in cat hair and a couple other strange things. So we cleaned it out, and Ed helped me transform. Didn't measure, and I just.
We're going to show you all the public areas. The public areas, as far as where the family hangs out for most of their days.
Yeah.
Which he's looking at he's looking up the stairway. There's, what are those? A bunch of windows up there.
Yeah. Yeah, architectural salvage is kind of my thing. I love old windows and doors. So this is our dining room table that Ed modified and made it a little bit wider and a little bit longer. It was a picnic table in a friend of mine's grandparents' backyard that we cleaned up and painted. Ed made the two end seats so you could have a back to a seat if it was more comfortable for you. And then, the girls color here, and it's a multi-purpose table for sure. So. And
everybody fits?
We all fit. We can fit company and friends, and we can squeeze. That's the good thing about having your dining room table be a picnic table, is you can always fit more.
Okay, and what's this area back behind me?
This is our homework area. It's kind of a space I had made. Someone had given me this little corner desk years ago, and we cut it and narrowed it down a little bit and made it fit this space. And now the kids have a place to go after school to do their homework, where they're not by a TV or the craziness of the kitchen, or just a designated place to be able to get their books out and do their homework and just be able to concentrate.
Okay. We head over this way. It looks like natural room transition using the flowers here.
Yes.
And we head into here, and we've got this really nice piano.
Yes.
How many people in the house play piano?
None. No one really ever has. We've tried to give kids lessons, and they didn't like it, but the piano's pretty, so I'm keeping it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's this guy up here?
This is actually a frame from an old window that my husband Ed had picked up for me off the curb, and what happens is I find this stuff, and he finds it for me, and I put it in a storage shed on the side of the house that we call the wood shed, because it's all my wood architectural salvage pieces. And eventually I'll just think to myself, oh, that would look really good there, so I'll trudge out there in the snow or in the mud, and I will dig through it until I find the piece I want, and I'll bring it in and sweep the cobwebs off of it and put it where I want it.
Very cool. I look at this area over here, and it looks like it has a theme to it.
Yes.
Explain that to me.
I had read, It was actually a post that someone else had posted, but it was a quote from Nate Berkus, who's an interior decorator on TV. And he was basically talking about decorating your home to be what you love, a reflection of who you are. And it occurred to me that I've always wanted to do this corner for my kids. And I think that particular post really pushed me to do it, because I think the thing that was holding me back was the fact that it was a little bit against the norm, and it wasn't necessarily a traditional dining room or living room area. But Ed and I made this TP for the kids, and we call this our Neverland Corner. And it has the architectural salvage pieces. It was actually probably about -5 degrees the day I decided to do this, and I really did go out in snow and dig through all of my wood pieces and find these the different gates and posts and things that I wanted to create this. So, and I put it together in an afternoon, which, you know, for me, it was a pretty simple concept because it's something I'd been thinking about for a while.
What's this area over here?
We have a son that has, he's on the ADD scale. Let's say that. Yes. So he needs a place of his own to be able to concentrate and do his work. So that's kind of his designated area just for him. And that way he can take the time that he needs to do what he needs to do.
Now, you had mentioned earlier when we were pre-production on this episode that everything here has a story.
Yes.
All these things, some of them are street finds, some of them you purchased.
Most of them have come actually from local neighbors. So if anyone's watching, hey, I got your trash. That's cool. a little embarrassed about that, but it's fun.
What's this guy?
So this is actually, my husband was really proud of this because he fished this out of the creek behind our house. It was waterlogged. Who knows why it was even in there. Obviously, it wasn't painted white. I painted it white. White's kind of my color. I love to get the barn paint from Home Depot or Lowe's because it's $20 for a gallon, and I love to use it, and I use it like crazy. So,
Did it come with that fence?
No, this was pieced together.
Well, where's the fence from?
I don't know. Probably
some neighbor?
I would say within like a 5-block radius.
Some neighbor or something?
Sure. Yeah. There's actually a house down the road. It's not this particular fence piece, but there is a house down the road. They threw away a fence piece that was broken, and Ed had brought it home to me. And to this day, I drive by that house, and there's a missing panel, and it's in my house. And I just think it's kind of funny because they don't even know that I have it.
Now, they do now. Now, as far as de-stress, you use the term de-stress. That's your company name, okay?
Yes.
And my Kate has told me that that's what all this is. It's like
a de-stress.
You paint it or make it look a certain way.
Yes,
right?
I distress it, but the reason I went with de-stress for my company name is because it's truly my way of keeping track of who I am and what I enjoy doing. I am a mother to 8, and it's my number one priority. But I'm more than that too.
Okay.
So,
and it helps you to de-stress.
It does help me to de-stress.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's head on into the kitchen.
Okay.
All right.
So I live
here.
This is the room I live in. This is my room. I wish there was a bed in it. That would probably make life a little bit easier.
You said that jokingly earlier, and then I realized you weren't joking.
No.
So let's take a look around there, Moo Man. I mean, you look at the fridge.
Yes.
And
a lot of times, the reason I started doing things, especially for this particular house, is when we moved into this house, I didn't like the house. I didn't like much about it, and a lot of the things were worn from time. And having as many kids as we do, it's not a matter of just being able to go out and buy new appliances. So this particular fridge was here when we moved in. It worked fine, but it was ugly. It was dented. It was starting to rust. The handles, the grip on the handles was starting to come off. So I chalk painted it years ago, and it has worked wonderful for us as a grocery list. And to cover the handles that were breaking, I covered them with twine. So a lot of the times my decorating is to also just extend the life of the items that we have and to make it look nice. I like things to look pretty.
All right, so what about, I look at all the chair combinations and the tables. it looks like you kind of just every area seems almost like it's themed. Like it's like you pick an area and you go, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah. It kind of just happens, to be honest with you. It's not necessarily something I think of in advance. It just move a lot. I shop my home in the sense that it means that I can move stuff around sometimes.
Light area that's made out of a ladder. You see this guy? They got a ladder here. Now, do you do this all by yourself, or does Ed help?
Ed, well, he's my idea crusher and dream killer. Is my nickname for him, because I'll initially come up with an idea and I'll this is my oldest son, Austin.
Now, for those of you that attend Medina High School, and for those of you that live in Medina area, most of you know
single.
Austin. Most of you know Austin. You were student council president, and you also were on the flip side of this. You did a lot of video work as well with the school, correct?
And he's cute and single.
Yeah.
And intelligent. And
I don't know
very,
any of this.
very
I'm going to
good
ask
kid.
this question live. I don't know the answer. You're graduating, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, what do you have a plan for school? Or are you going to just work, or what are you going to do?
I'm going to Akron next year.
Akron University. So we got a zip in the house.
We do.
All right.
We do.
Now you've done a lot of video production.
A cute single one.
Would you stop?
I'm sorry. Sorry.
We had a colossal issue. The chickens had pecked through our audio cables earlier. Wink, wink. And point being, we did a whole live for about 40 minutes before we realized our audio wasn't working before we got to this point. So this is take 2.
Okay.
All right. Have you ever had that happen to you? Anything like that?
No, we double check our stuff.
He just said we suck. I did double check, kind of, but not really. All right. So anyway, welcome to the show. All right, we're going to continue our tour right now.
Yes.
So right now we're going to head on out over to the living room.
Okay.
Wow, dude, that was a really bad shot of me. All right, so watch out for Benji. Watch out for Benji. All right, so to me, the living room has always been the most warm, comfortable space in your house. I mean, when as long as I've known you, it seems like you've always focused on, okay, let's start with this as the heart, and then let's work our way out from there.
Yes. Yeah.
So does that make sense?
It does. This is actually the room that we spend, I would think, the most time in as a family. And it's worn. It's worn and it's comfortable and it's cozy. There's a reason we bought denim furniture, and it's because denim wears well. So this is our place to be. We, believe it or not, we all fit in here. We all watch movies in here together. We're all over the place, but we do enjoy being here together.
What you do to the ceiling?
Well, we had a mishap, and there was a patched portion, and unfortunately, Ed was a little bit behind on fixing it, according to what I felt as though needed to be done. So this is actually that I cut antique kitchen cabinet that I transformed into our open. The kids put their pillow pets and different games in there, and we have access to things without it being all over the place.
I mean, you could spend 10 minutes in this room, but we don't have time for that right now. But I mean, we'll be here later, so if you want to take a look in a bit, we're going to head on outside, folks. We're going to head out toward they have a really nice deck area. Let's grab the baby. They got a nice deck area and a nice family and kid friendly outside area as well. So we're going to head that way.
Yes.
Was this deck here when you guys bought the house?
This deck was here when we bought the house. Yes, it was in great shape, and we've had to restain it a couple times just from wear and weather. But other than that, it was one of the things that we actually did really like about the house.
Okay, and was the pool here?
The pool was not here. We added. It is the perfect size, I think, for us right now.
Plus, it's right here on the deck.
Yes.
And it's easy access. If a kid's got an issue, you're right here.
Yes. And totally, this is a good place. You can just have a wine cooler and watch your kids swim. I'm not even going to go anywhere with that.
All right. Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff. What is that back? Which way you want to go?
We can go this way.
Okay.
We can go this way.
All right.
This is kind of my potting corner. This is where I do all my potting of my plants, because I'm kind of really loving indoor plants and outdoor plants right now. Ed had made me this potting bench here for my birthday a couple years ago, and he actually picked up some roofing, some metal roofing from the curb. Somebody was throwing it away a couple years ago, or a couple months ago, I'm sorry, and he added this for me as a rooftop to my potting bench.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes.
Now, he also,
Yes,
Ed
he
just
did.
went
He
and
threw my
grabbed
sandals.
sandals
He
and threw
takes care of
sandals.
me.
That
He does
was
take
great.
care
That was
of me.
great. Here's the magic grill. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
This as well was given to us. This was neighbor was going to throw it away, and Ed took it off his hands, and
very
it has
nice.
served us
Very
well.
nice. Now we got fence off to our right. This is the culprit.
Yes.
All
Now
right.
this fence was actually already here. The house when we bought it was fenced off very strangely, and so we decided to kind of roll with it and do our chicken coop and run based on where the fence already was. Our garden's on the other side, still a work in progress, like the pool. So let's
No,
not
well,
get-
no.
let's
The
not get too
garden.
close.
We're all having the same issue, right? We just had winter for
We did.
18 months.
And next to the garden is our frog pond, where we've got our tadpoles and our mosquito fish. The kids, my boys, love to go out there and hang out.
They literally do frogs over there.
Yes, there's literally tadpoles and mosquito fish in our frog pond right now.
Okay.
So
And we got Max.
this is our bunny Max, and he hangs out with our chickens. They kind of just ignore each other, to be honest with you. I don't know where my girls are. It's starting to get dark, and they like to go home. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming at this point they're
in the
at
coop.
home.
They're in the coop. And we had talked about this before as well. There was a point you had a bunch and you used to sell your eggs, right?
We did. I got a little crazy with the chickens. I really like my chickens.
How many
and
did you have? What was the most you ever had?
There seems to be Ed and I don't seem to agree. I think 12. He thinks 14. I'm not sure where those other two are coming from, but they were. Let's just say that they were unfortunately something got into our coop and took.
Was it a coyote or something?
It was a.
Well, we had a raccoon, or a possum rather. It was a possum went in there and got in there and took care of two of them. Then some of them started getting sick and stopped laying eggs. And I wasn't going to go the whole winter taking care of and feeding chickens that weren't producing anything. So,
You were the coyote.
well, something had to
we won't say that live on air.
'cause I really
but
did like my
no.
chickens.
Seriously though, question. And I didn't know this. Possums can kill a chicken.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense. They got sharp teeth and stuff, right?
They have very sharp teeth, yes. And there was a little hole up there by the pine tree. You can see I got some boards up there with wires holding them in place now, where he got in, and I ended up catching him with one of the traps, with a live trap, and
You're kidding.
yeah,
I didn't realize
didn't
that.
keep him alive though.
Well, and the thing is, there's been a lot more. There's been a lot more lately coyote sightings in and around. You guys had a bear. I mean,
we had a
bear
north,
sighting.
there was
Yes.
a bear up in Brunswick, right?
No, I was.
Or in Medina on River Styx. It was on River Styx.
Yes. Yes.
You got a bear. I mean, there's been a lot of coyote reports in West Akron. Just in the last, they'll put it on that next door neighbor. So I mean, that's something that you got to be cognizant of. But I would assume, for the most part, I'm looking at this thing. I can't imagine a coyote being able to get into this, right?
We did our research. We really did, as far as how to safely how to build your coop safely to try to protect your chickens. So to be honest, we were surprised that something did get in because we put so much effort into it. But
We buried the wire. The fence goes outside on the underneath, and buried outside. So if something tried to dig in from underneath, they run into the fence under the ground too. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's head back up now. We don't have to see the whole backyard. I mean, you guys used to have a trampoline of death, and that's been eradicated,
yes,
right?
the happiest day of my life.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a mom. Ninth happiest day of my life.
we still have ours. All right, so heading back in now, we skipped this area earlier. This is like the sunroom, right?
This is our sunroom. Obviously, when we first bought the house, it was an open space. We had some seating that I had made from. What did I make the seating from, Scott? I had made the seating from pallets.
Oh, from pallets, that's right. I remember the
word
pallets.
left my
Yep.
brain. But once Perfectly Distressed really started going, I was having a lot of projects in the garage. There were painting things that were drying. People were having to walk around furniture. And so I had brought up to Ed how he felt about me having a designated area in the sunroom. And being the supportive husband that he really always is. I call him the dream killer and idea crusher, but he truly is very supportive, and he was on board for it. So we still use this space as our living space. The
Okay.
kids love to eat dinner out here and hang out here, but
Okay.
this was the transformation that we made using architectural salvage again, some old doors that we had found on the curb. We kind of built a wall, and I was able to move all of my supplies out here, and this is kind of my workshop area where I can start painting and I can do things without having to worry about the kids or taking up space in the house. So I have it kind of organized as best as I can with, my painting and my painting supplies and different things. We have a very nice floor in here, so I real cheaply cover it with brown paper, like packaging paper or craft paper, to help protect the floor a little bit. And this is actually a art easel that I had made using some Goodwill shelving and an old ladder. I can paint on here. My kids love to come out here and paint on the art easel. So actually, that's one of our old kitchen cabinets right here that we've used as storage because we kind of switched out our kitchen cabinets a couple months ago. So again, I try to reuse items that we already have, and I try to think of new ways to use things that maybe we've put in the garage or that we don't use as often.
I see a quote that you've got on the ground there.
Yes.
You also got it up behind us here.
Yes.
It says, creativity takes great courage.
Yes.
So be brave.
Yes.
So where'd you come up with that one?
For years, people told me I should sell my items and I should, do social media and I should do a blog. And I didn't have the courage to do it. I really didn't. And it took my daughter coming home from school one day. She had written a paper about me, and it was about the things that I do and how she thought I was so creative and how she was so proud of me. And it occurred to me that the only reason I hadn't done anything with my business or why I hadn't decided to do it was all me. It was all in my mind. So I decided to take the leap.
And are you happy you did that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it's opening up a bunch of doors right now, isn't it?
It really has. It really has. Within the first week and a half of me having my Instagram page, I had a lot of followers that were bigger accounts. I had a couple HGTV hosts follow me, which was very surprising. We don't have cable, so I honestly don't even.
Did Chip and Joe?
No, oh my gosh, no.
That would, Kate would freak out.
Yeah, no. She's, but I really think we could be best friends.
Yeah.
No, it's been quite the experience for me. It really has been. So.
All right. So now, when you're home alone,
with the
I
kids,
see you got the handyman.
Yes.
I get the family handyman too. When you're here home alone, which kids are with you during the day?
Okay. Well, this year I had a half day kindergartner. So she was home with me in the morning. She would go to school in the afternoon, and then I would have the two younger ones home with me. So the baby, a lot of times, if I wasn't doing anything with a lot of fumes, if I was just working and creating and building things, the baby would hang out here. My daughter, I'd give her water, and she would paint with the paintbrushes on wood with water. I can't not have them in here. I have to be able to do the things with them, which is what gets tricky. I actually posted a picture on Instagram of I was sewing something for my oldest son, and I had the baby on my back in a carrier because that is my life. I'm not out here by myself. I'm usually out here with them. The only time I'm by myself is if I am painting, and it is a stronger.
And you're not saying that like some kind of martyr or anything.
No.
It's just
my life.
It is what it is.
It
right?
is what it is.
So,
yeah.
and it's funny because my similar story to that would be, I have and you know this backpack, you've seen it. I've got a blue backpack that fits on me that I've had all four of my children. I have DJ'd something,
yes,
whether it be a wedding or a show or whatever,
right,
with them literally on my back.
On the back, yes.
So, and not to hurt their ears or anything, but I'm behind the music, right?
Yes.
So I mean.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely get it. I definitely get it.
Yes.
So, all right, well, we're gonna head on back inside now. We're gonna do our transition, and we'll finish up. We're gonna do an interview between Kristen and Ed as well.
Okay.
But at this point, folks, you've seen the tour of what we're willing to show you, because honestly, we just don't feel comfortable taking you up into people's bedrooms and stuff. So right now, Moonman's going to do about a minute long transition. Let me go grab my clipboard. Ed, you take this mic. All right, so
Yeah. He is crabby.
The first question, and you're still live, right, Moonman? All right, the first question is, Chris, what was the original inspiration? What was the original inspiration? And look at your audience now. This is where you get to talk to people that are gonna, they're gonna be following your story.
Okay.
Where'd you originally come up with the whole idea in the first place? Where did this all start? The Perfectly Distressed and the whole concept of taking stuff off the street and doing it.
Because we had no money. We started, we were kind of like the yes people. If someone was getting rid of something, if someone was changing out their house furniture, it kind of became a joke that they would always ask us if we wanted it because they knew we would probably take it. And then it occurred to me after so many times of taking other people's furniture that, especially the wood furniture, that if I didn't like it, doesn't mean I had to keep it that way, which is why I started painting it and personalizing it. And kind of going from there. So I've been doing this before Pinterest was even a thing. I've been repurposing items and using things that I find for a different purpose than what's it's intended. I did it for fun, and now it just so happens that it's kind of something that's trending. But it's actually something that I think I was raised that way. My stepmom was always big on decorating and was always changing and doing things, and I guess I just picked it up.
I just went ahead and I got you a wine slush. Looks like I left it in the freezer too long.
No, it's okay. Rosé the day, right?
Okay, so we haven't talked about him. Hey, Ed.
Are you calling in the troops?
Ed, yell down to the kids and tell them to come up here for a second. Go out the kids. Tell us. I'll sit in a minute. I'm going to sit in a minute. I'm going to grab my drink. When the kids come up, tell us.
These. This is obviously three of 8. We seem to be missing some. Why don't you go ahead and say your names and how old you are?
My name is Maggie May, and I'm 6 years old.
Maggie May.
Call, right? And while we were on the call, you said, I got an injury. I got to go. Okay,
yes.
Bye.
Yes, that's my life.
Explain
Unexpected things. Mateo was out at the frog pond. Mateo is one of the ones that we seem to be missing right now. He was out at the frog pond, and he slipped and fell and got hurt. So he's typically my one that he's the reason we buy Band-Aids.
All right. Well, so how do you, besides just having that thing up on the board, how do you manage all these kids' schedules? What's your method?
You know what? I've got about 4 different alarms that go off on my phone throughout the day, and it's kind of like the time to go to school alarm, the coming home from school alarm. We have 2 calendar systems that we use. One is the small wall calendar that we write our stuff on, and the other one is our huge weekly chalkboard calendar where the week's worth of stuff goes. And other than that, it's just a matter of really, a lot of times I'm on my own because Ed's doing all of his extra jobs and he's working and coaching. So for the most part, it's just it's controlled chaos.
Well, so how do you, when it comes to that, then we had talked about it out on the other porch, managing the schedule of your business, because
Yes.
the problem is, right, people will order stuff. Or they'll say they want stuff, right? And then how do you fit that into everything?
Typically, when it comes to the seasonal decor, I'll make, for instance, 15, and 15 is what I have. If I have time to make 15, 15 is what I have. As far as refinishing furniture for people, sometimes I've gotten in a little over my head and I've taken on too many projects. But for the most part, I guess that's nice. That's what the nice thing about it is. It's based on my schedule and what I can and can't handle.
Okay. So now, throughout this whole process, we've we've seen a lot of crosses, we've seen a lot of biblical quotes.
Yes.
Explain to us where are you guys in faith, and how does faith play a role in your family?
We are practicing Catholics, and I think that for us, in times of trial and in times of hardship, or in times of just the other day, I was actually just telling my other son, when you don't know what else to do, that's when you pray. But I feel like for our family personally, it's one of the things that keeps us close together. We pray every night before we eat. We pray together every night before we go to bed. And I think that the quotes around the house are just a way to remember. I want my kids to remember who they are and where they came from. And I think that just as the same as in school, when a teacher puts words up on the wall so the kids can remember how it's spelled, or what the beginning letter is, it's the same idea. It's repetitive. So if they see those quotes on a daily basis, then in their mind, when the time comes, they'll apply those quotes to what they need it for.
All right. So then there comes. What was that? Was that a gunshot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Then we come to you.
Pretty safe neighborhood. So,
Then we
I
come
don't
to you
know.
and Ed. How does marriage work in this thing? Do you guys
hard.
date?
No, unfortunately, it's hard. When we do get out, it's usually it's us, but we have the younger ones with us. Very rare. I don't even know the last time it was just the two of us, but that's kind of fun too. We'll go to a restaurant and we'll maybe just have one baby or two babies, and people always ask us if we're new parents, and we pretend that we are. We'll say, yeah, we're new.
Then you ask them for advice. What advice could you give?
Yeah. So it's kind of nice. We just kind of pretend. We pretend that it would be, what would it be like if we only had one or two?
Ed, I just asked if you guys ever get to date.
Go inside
It's-
and fix that.
Date who, he says.
Dave.
I stopped dating a while ago.
Well, she said that you guys will go out. Come sit with her. Come over here. Come sit with her. She said that when you guys will go out, you'll take a kid or two with you and pretend that you're new parents.
It's happened a couple of times. Especially with the younger ones, when mom and dad or someone's watching or babysitting the kids, they wouldn't take the youngest one if they're breastfeeding and stuff. So we take advantage of it and go out, just the two of us and maybe one or two, and have a good time.
Nice. All right, so here you are right now. This second take has been decent footage, and we got a real good look at the house and the stuff that you've done. And the question is, what are the future plans for the business? What's next? I mean, here you are, right? You're selling stuff off your front porch in your pajamas. Is there a next step in this? You're going to get a lot of exposure from this. You're going to get a lot of exposure from your blog. You're doing a blog now.
I do.
Okay. So, Ed, go ahead and hand her the mic. What are the future plans?
Well, right now it's kind of exciting because here, probably in the next month or so, there's a newspaper, a magazine spotlight on one of my projects that I had posted, and Somerset Home Magazine contacted me and asked if I would be willing to write an article for that particular project. It was our blessings board. So that's coming out this summer, which is actually pretty exciting. So I will officially have been in a magazine, a home decor magazine. It's kind of a do-it-yourself magazine. And gosh, I don't know. I don't know what's next. Maybe from pajamas to jeans.
What about
The
the
possibilities are endless.
What about tell us about the TLC opportunity?
Okay, well, we were because of my perfectly de-stressed Instagram page, I was contacted by a TLC casting director asking if we'd be interested in possibly
fun time in life it is to be a Cleveland fan. I want you to tune in next week as we go live on East 4th Street as expected, as I predicted. We're going to be interviewing fans to get their take on how the series is going and what to expect in Game 3 at that point. But until then, I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense in being late. Say goodnight, Shirley.